Time now is 21 minutes past 7. It's been more than a century since Britain's largest bird of prey, the sea eagle, has been spotted on Loch Lomond near Glasgow. But during the quiet months of lockdown, the birds returned to nest. And now, with activity and footfall increasing around the popular spot, there are some fears they could be scared away. Our Scotland correspondent Lorna Gordon is there for us this morning. Lorna, gorgeous. I'm a big fan of Loch Lomond, but obviously, as many tourists, we don't want to upset the wildlife either.
Really don't want to upset the wildlife, no. Good morning. You know, half of Scotland's population live within about an hour of the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park. It can be a really popular place during the holidays or when the weather is good. And it seems like these birds took advantage of the quieter times earlier this year. They were observed building what's known as a frustration nest. That's a practice nest. It's probably too late in the season for them to lay eggs, but the authorities do want to do everything they can to encourage them to stay. Out on patrol on the waters of Loch Lomond, the rangers who make sure any visitors here, both human and animal, remain safe, are now looking out for Britain's largest bird of prey too. Have you seen these birds?
I have indeed. There's no mistaking them, they're absolutely huge. It was more shock at first. We're used to seeing ospreys and buzzards, gulls, crows, anything like that. Loads of different wildlife birds, but seeing a white-tailed eagle, it's a good feeling.
With their 8-foot wingspan, sea eagles or white-tailed eagles were once hunted to extinction, but successfully reintroduced. There are now thought to be over 150 breeding pairs. As their numbers have grown, the territory they can be spotted in has spread.
I don't think my luck's in today, unfortunately.
No sign of them today.
No sign today, no.
The Loch Lomond pair arrived during the quiet of lockdown. Experts hope, even as it gets busier again, they will choose to stay.
Very heavily protected, so we're obviously avoiding disturbance of them, but they're wonderful birds to see back. The fear we have is that birds will be disturbed from people either walking, getting too close to the nests, or from being on the water, either kayaking or jet skiing. But the hope is that that won't happen, and that the birds will come back next year and that they'll breed successfully, and we'll have a breeding pair of sea eagles on Loch Lomond.
These waters, quiet today, can get noisy.
Just to let you know, we've set up an exclusion zone in this area where we're restricting all traffic.
So there's now a restricted area around where the birds have built a nest and a campaign to make sure people know to stay away.
It's nice to see the sea eagles as well now.
But as a last resort, anyone who does get too close faces the threat of a prison sentence or a £5,000 fine. That's a big sanction.
It is, but it's very important to protect our key wildlife species.
What does it say about the loch, birds like this coming back?
With the return of ospreys to Loch Lomond, with the return of white-tailed eagles, we start to see a better balance of the wildlife.
But not everyone is happy to see the birds return. In some locations, sea eagles have attacked lambs, and while this hasn't happened here, farmers are concerned and warn they'll be counting their livestock.
They want something that's easy. A newborn lamb or a young lamb is an easy kill. It is very, very worrying because they can decimate a sheep flock.
It's more than a century since sea eagles have been seen nesting this close to Glasgow. Their reappearance means a new balance is needed between all those who use these waters. But conservationists hope that, with a little help, they'll stay, breed and flourish. Well, park authorities here do have some experience putting in place exclusion zones. They've done it in the past for ospreys. And they say while they do get some reckless behaviour from a very small minority, it's really all about educating people and that enforcement action is a last resort. And they say the vast majority of the people who use these waters are just really excited to hear about this wildlife success story. Sea eagles within 30 miles of Glasgow. It's been seen as a real conservation success.
Lorna, thanks so much. It really does look lovely there, but really interesting. Lorna, thank you.